Welcome back. Today we are doing by request, viewer request. We're going to be making this maze cane, as she called it. I didn't really give it a name. Here's the other end where I've cut some off. Now you'll see I have some different colors here, and here's why. As you can see, I already have a pretty big block of this for making lithops, and I don't want to make another gigantic block of this because I am working on projects while I do these tutorials, so I'd like to try something different. The important part is that you have a dark, a medium, and a very light. Whatever three colors you think will look nice together, the only thing that matters is that one is very dark, one is very light, and one is pleasingly in between. Now, if you're familiar with my tutorials, you know I use a lot of translucent. This is mostly translucent with a little bit of yellow added in slowly until I liked the shade, but it was still mostly translucent. This is, once again, my greens all get mixed together. I couldn't tell you what all is in here. It just ended up being a pleasing shade, and I mixed it in about half and half with translucent. And then there's this purple I made. And I'm not sure what these colors were to start with, but I had a true red and a true blue. And what I did is I took the blue, I had the larger chunk of red, and slowly added the blue until it got to this nice Merlot shade I like. If you do it the other way, if you add red into mostly blue, it starts making a completely cooler, different shade of purple. So for this Merlot wine colored, you want to start with mostly red and slowly add slivers of blue in until you get to this nice Merlot. But you need a true red. Some of the reds have orange in them, and it won't make the same color. Okay, so I encourage you to use whatever colors you would like to use. In this one, I didn't get very adventurous. I used a light green, a dark green, and a mostly translucent white. But this time, right here, right in front of your eyes, I'm going to get a little daring and mix it up. I encourage you to do the same. The only important part is very dark, medium, very light. And your tissue blade. Okay, to conserve time, I've stepped off camera and rolled my balls of color into 3 strips. I've taken my green, which will be your medium contrast color, and I've rolled that out on my machine on a 0, which is my thickest setting. I moved on to the high contrast dark color, purple in this case, and I rolled that out on a number 3, and then I rolled out the transparent yellow on a number 4. Cut them all to the same length, and now we're going to stack. It's one on top of the other. Now once you do this, now what you're going to do is take this whole stack. I'm going to step off camera for 2 seconds and leave you rolling. You want to take this whole stack and roll it through your machine, pardon my sleeve, on your thickest setting. All 3 colors, just right on through that 0 setting. Here it comes. And there we are. So now we've got one big slab. Let me cut off a piece so I can show you an end here. Okay. So there you have it. Green, dark, white, all in this thin slab. Now, I want the green on the outside. So I'm going to lay that against my glass. If you wanted the yellow on the outside, I don't recommend it. It's too transparent. But if you wanted the yellow on the outside, you could flip it around the other way and start your roll. But I want the green on the outside, so green side down. Take your tissue blade at a slant, cut a little slope on that first edge. You want to roll it tightly. This is going to be the curlicue in the center of your cane. So take a little time as you tuck this in to roll it in even. This is the center of your cane. There we go. And once again, this might drive you nuts. I don't trim my ends right now. They're all going to end up getting trimmed anyway. Alright, so I've got a nice roll going, but I don't want to keep rolling like a jelly roll. This is where the maze part comes in, and I didn't invent this. This is a Jessima tutorial trick that I modified. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend that back on itself. You know what? I am going to trim at least one of these edges so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I trimmed that edge now so you can kind of see how that pattern. Normally I'd leave it this way, but for the sake of this tutorial, I wanted you to be able to see the pattern building up. So we did our first jelly roll. There, when I trimmed it, you can see the little curlicue. So now what you want to do is fold it back on itself and roll it around the other way. I'm going to get just about to there. This is where it gets random. I'm going to fold it in on itself again. Make that little loop. I'm going to fold it in on itself over here. Roll it around. Get just about over there. I'm going to fold it in on itself here. Make a little crease. But then I'm going to fold back. Now here I have a gap. I'm going to make another fold in there. There is no rhyme or reason to how you do this. You can be as random here. I'm going to go all the way around. And then when I get to this end, I'm going to bend it back on itself. Fold it into that crease there. Now I've got mostly the yellow going on. Keep an eye on that. Because on the last layer, when I go all the way around, I want to make sure that green is on the outside. Right now the yellow is on the inside. Or on the outside, I'm sorry. Okay, do you see how that's going? I feel like I'm getting a lot of bobbles on this side. So to even it out, I'm going to go clear over here. Make a weird one there. Now, I'm getting about to where I'm going to wrap the outside of the cane for good. There I had a gap I didn't quite like. I just smushed it in. Now we're getting to that outside layer. I think I'm going back over here. I didn't think there was enough ripples on this side, and I had a little left over. So I went back, and now I'm going to wrap so that this green goes all the way around the outside. Right over that one. And I think I want it to stop. Now, this is lopsided and there's a big blob right there, but that doesn't matter. Trick is, come back in here, slant your tissue blade at an angle, and then just roll it right over. Seal that up good. Now before I start reducing this, I'm just going to trim those nasty edges on both sides. And you can see that we've got the beginning of our brain cane. That's a pretty big air bubble there. I'm going to start working that. I can see I have a gap there. I'll work that out right off the bat. Okay. So, quick reduction on a circle. Press down, both sides. Press around. Don't start lengthening it yet. Keep it in this chunk. Press down and around. Now I'm going to start working my thumbs through the middle. Wow, that's a big chunk of something there. There we go. Okay. Had a little purple stuck on there. It was bothering me. Now you start making a dent in the middle. Now you don't want to make this dent smaller than the diameter you want to end up with. So I always leave it a little big, but here's my dent. And I'm pressing upward and outward with this finger and this finger, all of them, going around. So I'm pushing like I have a square almost, but I only turn it a tiny little bit and push again. Tiny little bit, push again. See how it starts bulbing this out instead of folding it over? That's what you want to see. I'm going to go to the other side, do the same thing. Once again, if this was a complex cane, there is no way I would reduce it this fast while it was this soft. But because of what we're doing, we can get away with it because we want it to be random and bubbly and look like Mother Nature, not like a science project. So there we go. Gonna roll that out nice and even. Chop off some ends. But the ends aren't the pieces we're here to see. Okay. Gorgeous, right? Okay. If you're going to make that into a lithops, you want to cut off two pieces, same size. This is going to be a big one. Now, you want to take this edge, same thing we always do. Push, push all the way around. You want to mash that 90-degree sharp edge. Notice I'm not touching in on the face. There's not a whole lot of fingerprints on that. Just pushing that edge. And it's a shape I like. Then I start. It's almost like that same reduction movement, except now I'm working it towards more of a point at the bottom. You see that? Coming in, coming in. It's more of a cone shape now. I think this looks a little bubbly, so I push and rotate, smooths that right out. I'm going to do that to both of them. Go all the way around, mash that edge down. I go around a couple times, just keep tapping. Here I got some action going with the other thumb. There we go. Now it's the same as that reduction movement. Push in the middle, going around. This time I'm not going to push out this way. I'll just start pushing this down and into a cone. We have another cone shape, see? Okay. Now, for that neat split, now you want to take your half circle on your glass, press down a little bit, and then round those sides out. Use your fingers, use your eyes. I want to get that down, not quite a half circle. Keep my cone shape. See, I'm just moving it. It's stuck to my glass pretty good, and I'm manhandling it. This bowed out weird again. So I'm going to roll it on my glass. Better. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. I'm going to push straight down, up the center, just to flatten it. Then I start moving these sides, keep that cone shape, push it into that half circle shape. There's no tried and true method. I'm eyeballing it. Makes that a little weird. Press it out on your glass. And you come in, put them together at the base. Just about line up at the top. But don't set that top together. Leave it there. You want it to split. So you're going to push. The further down this you can push, the better. See how it starts pushing that out? Look at that. And I usually roll this a little between my hands. So this is stuck together really good, and these are starting to, and you got that beautiful split. The split happens naturally from pushing at the bottom. And dull cutting blade down across the top of those under the split. And there you have it. I kind of like those colors together. I'm going to use these in my project. That's it. There's the brain cane lithops. When you stick a whole bunch of these together, they look very cute.